Scarana region of Italy, 45 miles north of Milan. Its provincial capital is Varese, often called the Garden City of Italian lakes. The city overlooks Lake Varese. Surrounded by alpine mountain ranges, the region is often described as the most beautiful province in all of Italy. Varese is also the home to the corporate headquarters for MV AGUSTA. It is here they debate the question, does MV need a second new motorcycle to survive? The answer is yes. In 2002, 4 years after introducing the F4, MV AGUSTA's legendary designer Massimo Tamburini continues the rebirth of the brand with a motorcycle called the Brutale. In classic Tamburini tradition, it is a full-out sport bike, but this design is stripped of its bodywork. The Brutale is a different type of motorcycle art, created for a different type of riding.
The Brutale is a bike more for everyday use. For the city, you can use it in the city, you can use it in the weekends. The F4 is a more proper race bike, just for the weekends.
From the very beginning, the Brutale is designed to be more than just a motorcycle used on a daily basis. Tamburini's intention is to blend art and real-world usability with performance. Today, the latest version of the bike is called the Brutale 910R, and in classic MV AGUSTA tradition, the R is short for race bike.
910R, I mean, just a beautiful balance of power, an incredibly quick chassis. There's still nothing soft about it. You know, you don't get on it and settle in. I mean, it's sport, you know, and that's what you get from MVs.
Like the F4, the Brutale's basic looks have not changed very much. But in typical MV fashion, over the years, the bike constantly gets more power. MV's latest version of a naked bike cranks out 134 horsepower and has a top speed of over 150 miles an hour.
The Brutale is a polarizing bike. People love it, or they just they don't like it at all, let's say. It's got the look of a street fighter. It gives you a nice upright riding position, nice big handlebars for leverage, see through traffic really well, yet it's got enough punch to be able to run with your buddies on the back roads.
With 2 successful models in production, in 2006, MV takes the next step when they introduce the ultimate expression of the brand, the F4CC. The CC being the initials of MV's patriarch, Claudio Castiglione. When it's released, it instantly becomes the most expensive production motorcycle in the world.
Io ho fatto una moto che,
My dream was to have a motorcycle that was a race bike that I could ride on the street.
The F4CC is about as exclusive as a motorcycle can get. Only 100 were built, and you could have bought one if you were willing to spend upwards of $150,000.
Sì, che abbiamo qui davanti, no?
If we talk about this model you see here, it costs the hefty price of 100,000 euros. This is not the result of the delirium of some madman. But when you understand the product and the process to make it come to life, it all makes sense. The latest model was dedicated to our president, even though at first he did not want to accept that honor.
Product and the process in creating the F4CC meant crafting more than 90% of its parts by hand. Combining special all-black paint with expensive bare carbon fiber. The F4CC also has what's called a torque shift system, developed for MV race bikes. That system keeps the bike's 190 horsepower engine from spinning the rear wheel out of control.
The funny thing is that the commercial name of this feature is a TSS, which is torque shift system. But honestly speaking, this is not true. This is just for the outside. For the insiders, the T comes from Tamiazzo, who is the name of the guy who really was the inventor of this system. So that's also funny, I think.
These days, any bike that wears the MV badge shares a unique four-cylinder engine design that was first developed in 1998. The original version produced 120 horsepower. The current version of the same engine design can crank out more than 180 horsepower.
Our engine is like an orange, and you squeeze, you squeeze, you squeeze, but you always have some juice.
Non abbiamo praticamente mezzi automatici di montaggio.
This is where the engine is born. All the assembly is done manually. We do not use any machines to assemble the parts.
The original design for the MV four-cylinder was in part engineered by Piero Ferrari, the son of Enzo Ferrari. And like Ferrari, MV heats the aluminum cylinder heads in what they jokingly refer to as a high-tech pizza oven. The MV recipe calls for 1 hour at precisely 374 degrees, which expands the metal ever so slightly. The result is a perfect installation and fit for the engine valve guides.
Testa praticamente è uscita dalla macchina, dalla Heller, con le prime
The cylinder head casting is heated. The guide slips in easy, and when it cools, it's locked in place. And this machine is actually putting the valve guides into the cylinder head at the moment.
dove avviene l'ultima fase del processo produttivo. Tutti I pezzi vengono controllati.
This is the final quality control check. This machine is going over different measurements. It's basically a multi-dimensional access. It has a ball point on the end. That point has gone over every nook and cranny and is building a 3D model. That 3D model has to match the computer drawing so that we know that everything exactly matches what the machined pieces are supposed to be.
The laser measuring system is accurate down to 1 micron. That's 1/25,000th of an inch, or 75 times thinner than a single strand of human hair. Much too small to be seen by the naked eye.
Vengono assemate le teste, dove vengono premontate le valvole,
In this area, basically, there's the sub-assembly of the cylinder head, the final assembly of the springs, valves, and the connecting rods. The sub-assembly for the transmission, or the cassette-style gearbox, which is unique to MV AGUSTA, is also done in this area. The final components are then brought over to the motor assembly line.
What makes the gearbox unique is that it can be removed from the bike in one piece, making it much easier to change gear ratios for different track or riding conditions. Each MV engine is virtually hand-built, and each technician has as much time as it takes to get the work done. It is a quintessential Italian attitude. This is not a typical factory. It is a place where artisans create art, and art cannot be hurried.